The Saudi Arabian Grand Prix showed that Mercedes still has much to do before it can seriously challenge Red Bull, even though they seem on the right path. Red Bull took the top two spots on the podium, with Mercedes finishing in 4th and 5th, and Fernando Alonso squeezed right between the two teams. Lewis Hamilton managed to race on the medium tires for 30 laps straight with some grip left in the rubber, indicating that the team's tire degradation was much better than in the last race in Bahrain. Additionally, the team seemed faster than in Bahrain as they managed to hold off the two Ferraris. However, Red Bull was still 1 second quicker per lap than both Mercedes and Aston Martin, and they seemed untouchable throughout the race. It is clear that Mercedes would have to do a lot of catch-up, and in this video, I will talk about what the team could do to improve their car and give Red Bull a harder time in the next few races. A look at the information provided to us by the drivers and the data gathered from the track shows the problems the W14 is currently facing. After the race in Jeddah, Lewis Hamilton mentioned how the car feels and how he isn't comfortable with his setup yet. "I feel like I struggled with the car in the high-speed sections particularly, but I just don't feel the car underneath me. I just don't feel connected to this car, and I can't get it, so I don't really know what I'm going to do about that," Hamilton told Sky Sports F1. He continued, "It's miserable. It's tough. I'm giving it absolutely everything. I'm here as late as I can be every day. I'm preparing the best you can, and I just get in the car and can't connect with it." The 7-time world champion seems to struggle hard with the W14, but what is really the problem with it? The race data show that the car's most significant problem in Bahrain was tire degradation. The W14 is producing extra downforce, which is causing additional stress on the tires and making them lose grip faster than the other cars on the track. In Bahrain, the track has a lower average speed and the corners are very tight, which makes the tires run hotter and they lose grip quickly. However, the problem was not noticeable in Jeddah because it was a faster circuit, and the corners were less taxing on the car, allowing Hamilton to complete his impressive 30-lap stint on the medium compound tires. The team made changes to the vehicle's rear wing and underbody, which may have rectified the issue to some extent as well. But you're probably wondering, what is the difference between Mercedes and Red Bull? Additionally, the Mercedes car is not as fast as the Red Bull, even on fresh tires. The Red Bull generally has superior aerodynamics and better exits from corners due to more grip. The W14 is more unpredictable and tends to oversteer in corners, seriously harming the pace and making it harder for the driver to go flat out into the corners. We have often seen the Mercedes drift away during corners, requiring more driver input to correct the car's behavior. Technical analyst Paolo Felicetti noticed a deep flaw that stems back from the W14's predecessor and explained what exactly is the issue with the W14. The Mercedes W14 seems to be just slightly better than its predecessor, said Felicetti. Huge dynamic problems are visible when they are negotiating the corners, with the rear end of the car behaving unpredictably. According to rumors circulating in the F1 paddock, the floor on the W14 seems to not provide a consistent aero load, resulting in it behaving differently across the ride height variations. Mercedes cannot develop a new car at this point in the season and would have to use the W14 as the baseline for any planned improvements. This is mainly due to the limited budget the teams are allowed, which only leaves enough funds to develop one car from the ground up. However, Mercedes is good at managing their funds throughout the season and improving their car faster and more than other teams. But what exactly can they do to improve the performance of the W14? Let me explain this. In 2022, the W13 also had a rough start to the season, much worse than this year, and faced the worst of the porpoising problem after the new rules and regulations that were introduced for the season. The car managed to barely be in the top 5 for half of the season, and the team seemed a mere shadow of its former self. However, they kept improving their car throughout the year, and by the United States Grand Prix, the team could challenge Ferrari and even Red Bull on track. By the end of the season, the team managed to score a victory in the Brazilian Grand Prix with George Russell in first and Lewis Hamilton in second. The team also aims to show such improvements this year, with significant upgrades to be released by the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix in May. But could they make the comeback a little quicker this year compared to 2022? In an interview with Sky Sports F1, Toto Wolff, the team boss of Mercedes, recently spoke about the steps Mercedes is making with their upgraded W14 and how the car will change throughout the year. He hopes the W14 can develop faster than Red Bull and Ferrari and will be very different from the W14 the team is racing with now. I think that the car is going to look very different in 5, 6, or 7 races based on the decisions that we have taken and the development direction that we have embarked on. We all voted for the cost cap to kick in with the aim of establishing a more level playing field, Wolff said. We were bitten by that, that's clear at this stage, but I don't want to ever say that the cost cap doesn't allow us to catch back up. It's more difficult, but we simply have to. The moment we decide, which we've done, which direction to go, where we want to have the car, we're just getting on with it and pushing hard with that one design philosophy. He also talked about how the team may be open to looking around the track for inspiration in the car's development. This topic was raised after Toto was asked what former Mercedes chairman and 3-time F1 world champion Niki Lauda would do if he were in the same situation as Wolff. I miss him a lot, but I miss him as a friend foremost, Wolff said. We are all missing him as a chairman. For Niki, it would have been very simple, because simplicity is what brings you to the best decision, and I know exactly what he would have said. Our car looks very different. Let's make it like the others and optimize it. We have a great team. We have great technology and infrastructure. We can do it much better than the others, so why don't we just get on with it? Things are very simple always. You can always cut all the nonsense out. And at the end, the simple decisions in life, which are very often instinctive decisions added together with data that supports them. And this is how Niki operated. Don't overcomplicate things. Get the basics right. This could mean that Mercedes is willing to take inspiration from the fastest team on the track, Red Bull. It is no doubt that the RB19 is extremely fast. During the Saudi Grand Prix, Red Bull was at least 1 second a lap faster than all others on the track. Even after starting in 15th, Max Verstappen managed to breeze through the crowd and ended the race in 2nd place, behind his teammate Sergio Perez. Hamilton himself agreed on this during an interview. When we were fast, we weren't that fast, he said. The RB19 is the fastest car I have ever seen in my Formula One career. Red Bull's sheer dominance is also cemented by the fact that the second fastest car on track, the Aston Martin, also copied most of their bodywork from last year's RB18. Mercedes wants to follow suit and use the design philosophy of Red Bull in their improved version of the W14. Now the question is, could Mercedes make a similar decision to what Aston Martin did? Wolff acknowledged Aston Martin's efforts during the winter and how they managed to turn a team that was 7th in the Constructors' Championship to getting back-to-back podiums in the first 2 races of the season. He wants to learn more from the team and talked about how they are performing better even though the teams share many parts, including an engine. Why it helps us, they have the whole rear end from our car, the suspension, the engines, the gearbox, all of that. So we know there are areas that are really good, that we must not question too much, Wolff said. But it's other areas where the cars are fundamentally different, where we need to set our focus. There is a lot to learn. Wolff's hinting at looking at other cars for inspiration means the car will be ditching the zero-pod design they introduced last year. They may also change the other body parts to ensure their car is as aerodynamically efficient as the Red Bull, if not more, as that factor is crucial in gaining track speed. Ultimately, Mercedes is on the right track for now, but the path ahead is difficult, and only time will tell what parts they take from other cars and what the difference in pace is on track. What do you think about the whole Mercedes situation? Let me know in the comments, and also, don't forget to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video.